Hey guys, this is Hell Hades. This is another Raid Shadow Legends video. Guys, probably one of the most difficult videos to make because we're talking about going second in the arena and trying to win some fights. Loads of people say to me, look, I struggle with speed. I can't go first. I go second a lot. And their win rate is like down in the dirt. What we're going to try and do here is show you some strats, show you some thinking about how you actually build a go second team and the type of things you need to consider. And if you're there and you're like, oh, this is what I need because, I'm not very good at gearing, or I'm not very good at working through masteries and stuff, it's probably not the video for you because this is harder. Going second and winning is harder. You have to think about a lot of things. You have to think about the strategy you're going to play out. You have to think about the opponent's team, whether they're the right people to face. And you have to gear your champions well to make this work. So if you're like, this is the easy street, no. The easy street is pump your speed lead full of speed, pump someone else full of speed, increase their attack, drop the enemy's defense, and then slam someone. That's easy. But everyone's doing that, which means that it's hard to make sure you're always going first. So let's talk through first some gear sets that can help you. And I'm going to start like super basic. If you're early game and you're struggling with this, your absolute best gear set for a go second team is going to be shield. Okay? It's going to be shield, and you want to consider who you're up against. Don't go up against a madame in a shield set if you're early game, because I tell you what, she looks at it and she's like, that looks tasty. I'm going to eat that right off. And instead of a shield being there, you're going to have a big fat decreased defense on you. So think about who you're going to fight. But shield set, what should you look for in your pieces for a shield set? You should be looking for HP percentage rolls. HP. Almost, if I've kept something without HP, it's because I'm dumb. HP percent, HP percent, HP percent. Yeah, I'm looking for HP percent rolls in my shield set. These are all my spare pieces. Let's actually look at some pieces that rolled well. Where are you? My Morley. So she's in my shield set. I've got triple HP roll here. I've got HP percent gloves, HP percent chest, HP percent boots. Yeah, you get the idea. So why do we want that? We want that because if you read it, your shield is 30% of your HP of your shield champion. Okay? So the higher you get their HP up, the better. My Morley here, literally running 100k HP, means everyone in my team gets a 30k shield. Okay? So that's the first one. That's the first basic rule. One other gear set or a couple of other gear sets actually we can talk through. So one gear set that can work kind of nice in the right situation is Frenzy. So someone that you want to push ahead in turn meter. If you don't think you're going to get one shot across your whole team, you can actually put Frenzy gear on the person you want to go first. Make sure it's quick gear because obviously you're looking to go ahead of your team. But you could throw Frenzy gear on. You could get yourself a nice chunky 30, 40 odd % extra turn meter from taking a whack. And then all of a sudden, you should push yourself to the front of the queue. And that person, I mean, generally a good person for this would be someone like a Morsian Mage or a Scartorsis that is going to cleanse anything off of the rest of your team. And then also give them a turn meter boost. So Frenzy gear is also kind of cool. And other gear sets which are pretty good for go second teams, if you've got hard-hitting AoE champions, and we'll go through those in a bit. Stuff like Avenging gear set, 45% chance to counterattack when hit with a crit. This is lovely on a Skull Crown, for example. She can't die from the crit anyway, and she just flows out a nice counterattack, which is going to slam someone hard. There's another one as well. Retaliation, where are you? Where are you? Maybe I don't keep any. Retaliation gear. Anyway, it does the same thing, basically. So, it does the same thing, but you don't have to be crits. Maybe I don't literally keep any retaliation gear, which is a bit weird, unless I've got some equipped. Okay, so as you advance further into the game, you get a couple more gear sets which become really relevant. So, Swift Parry, Ugh. Disgusting swift parry. 50% chance to be unkillable. This ruins people's day because generally what happens is on their first big smack, they've used all of their utility, they've used all of their big stuff, they've dropped your defense, they've used their big turn meter booster, they've hit you with their big smack, and then someone on your team, hopefully 1, 2, 3, however many of these sets you've got, just says, nah, I'm not dying just yet, friend. And you know what? Now I'm going to get a turn and give my guys a chance to come back at you. Swift parry is disgusting as a set for someone that doesn't expect to go first. Another really good set, which is coming from Doom Tower now, is Guardian. So where it absorbs 10% of all damage dealt to ally champions, heals by 10% each turn. So again, if you've got this kind of, well, if you've got like a unit that's going to protect your team, Guardian feels broken right now. You know, you throw it on an absolute big tank and they will protect your team all day long. Another nice one for protection is Stalwart. So Stalwart minus 30% from AoE damage. So you're just absorbing a load more damage than you would do. So it's like having Strengthen on, but better. Straight 30% reduced from the damage you would have taken from that Trunder. She's slamming you for 100k? No. She's slamming you for 70k. So in certain situations, this can be really nice in a go second team as well on the right champions. So another really important gear set for go second teams is actually immunity gear. Immunity gear will stop you taking a ton of debuffs. Yeah, you're immune for 2 turns when a debuff comes at you. It can be stripped away. But generally, if you're expecting to go second, or certainly against someone like a hedgy team, or if there's Torments in the opponent team, then immunity gear is probably one of the best sets in the game. But it can be stripped by Madame, it can be stripped by Cythalia, all of those type of champions. But it's a super cool set on the right champions if you want to make sure that they're absolutely going to get a turn and absolutely going to help you out. Good example is if you're using someone like a Sky-Touched Shaman in a go second team. So you'd need someone to cut her turn meter up, someone like a Morley. But if you do, she can then come in. She could be your only one in immunity gear, but she can then clean off any buffs, debuffs on your team and replace it with a block debuffs. So one champion in immunity gear could be the answer to an enemy Hedgie, for example, or an enemy Torment. So yeah, immunity gear can be really solid. The second thing we're going to talk about is Masteries. Now, Masteries are even more important than gear. As important as gear. In go second teams. Like, if you cannot get your Masteries right, then you're going to struggle. Because Masteries, they literally change the battle if you're talking about a go second team. Think about it. You're expecting to take a massive whack. Okay? All of you, and if you're up against a half-decent team, all of your team is going to take a smack. So you have to have the right Masteries pinpointed on the right champions to give yourself a chance to get through the first hits. So I'm going to talk you through some of the strongest Masteries in the game for go second arena teams. Most of them are in the defense tree. Okay, you won't find a lot of go second champions that don't have a defense tree filled in. Okay, so some of the ones to look out for. This one's nice. Improved parry. Decreases the amount of damage you receive from a crit, 8%. This one's nice. Blast proof reduces the amount of damage you receive from AoE hits. Almost everyone that's coming at you is going to hit you with an AoE. Okay, so you can kind of choose which of those two you go for. This is the strongest mastery in the game for Arena. Without that, it's so brokenly overpowered, insane, and it's a tier 3 mastery. Resurgent, 50% chance. That's a massive chance, by the way. 50% chance to remove one random debuff from this champion when they lose 25% of their max HP or more from a single enemy skill. 25% of your HP is not a lot. 50% is a lot. So if you've got a debuff on you, I don't know, let's assume you've got decreased defense on you. That's going to be the most common one. If someone slaps you with a little tickle, like a 25% hit, then the decreased defense can just go away. And then all of a sudden, you've got a chance to take the next hit. So Resurgent is actually one of the best masteries. You've also got this whole kind of tier 5 of defense tree. All brilliant masteries in the right situations. So we've got Selfless Defender. Decreases the damage an ally takes from the first enemy hit by 20% in each round. This champion will receive that damage instead. So this goes on the person you want to be like a damage soak. Either someone that can proc some sort of unkillable or resurrect, or just someone who's absolutely built like a unit that can take the damage away from your damage dealers and give them a chance to get in the game. So this is a good soak. Yeah, my Morley's taking this because in this team that I'm going to show you later, she is the person who soaks up a load of damage and lets the rest of my team then do the job, do the work. Cycle of Revenge. 50% chance to gain 15% turn meter when an ally is attacked with a crit. Okay? So if you're going second, you're going to take a hit. Yeah, so when you take that hit, you want not necessarily everyone needs this, but you want your team to be pushing their turn meter forward so that you've then got a chance to have a go. Yeah, so you're trying to cut in on the enemy's turn meter. That's the important part of this. You've got 2 counter-attack masteries here. So you've got 1, 50% chance. Again, that's a big number. 50% chance to counter-attack if you get this tickle, the 25%. So if you've got, again, someone with a hard-hitting AoE or your hard-hitting champion, Retribution's really nice. However, don't forget, if you Retribute and you hit someone for more than 25% of their HP, their turn meter booster may also gain 15% turn meter. Their turn meter booster, and I'll come on to this one in a minute, may gain another 20%, and it might push them back in front of you. You see how this becomes more complicated than you ever thought it would be. So just beware that although this is a nice one in the right situation, it can also lead to your demise. Okay, and that's the same with this. So deterrence, basically if other people on your team are getting hard locked, then you've got a chance to counterattack. Let's talk about a couple of tier 6 masteries then. So this is a lovely one, Bulwark. So if you've got an absolute tank, a unit that you want to protect your team, you put Bulwark on and they're going to take a percentage of damage from the rest of your allies. This is really nice. We've also got Timely Intervention that I've just spoken about. So your speed booster, your turn meter booster, the person who you want to get your team rolling after you've taken the hits, if they've got Timely Intervention, then they've got a chance of cutting in on the enemy team. This is particularly good on a Cardinal team, which I'll show you a little bit later. But yeah, this is an awesome mastery for a go second turn meter booster. Any others that I should call out? I guess things like Evil Eye can ruin the opponent's day just because you push turn meter back and you kind of interrupt what they're doing on a kind of really small level. But that's actually a really useful mastery. That's probably it for masteries, I think. Okay, so let's start talking about some champions then that can really help you in a go second team. This becomes really champion specific, but there's a lot of different options. There's some which are better than others, but there are a lot of options, and this game has got so much depth to it. I'm sure there's tons more that I'm going to talk about here. But there's some fun ones, there's some kind of meme ones, and there's some like more serious. If you get these champions, they're just going to help you if you go second. So let's start with probably the best one in the game for the average player. Even for an endgame player, to be honest. Seeker. So why is Seeker so good? Firstly, he's going to be your turn meter booster, and he's going to boost your attack. So when you get a go, he's actually going to be massively valuable to your offense, okay? But he's also super good because of this passive. So, heals his champion by 20%, whatever. Places increased defense buff on all allies for 2 turns when hit with a crit. Okay, so if someone's coming at you with their nuke, they hit Seeker. Seeker then spreads increased defense across your whole team. Okay, now, this is really important, and a lot of these champions are going to be important to understand turn order. All right, so Seeker, if you're playing a Seeker, Seeker needs to be as high up the order as possible because he doesn't start spreading that increased defense until he's hit. And the way the AI works is they'll always hit the first and your leader first, then position 2, then 3, then 4. Okay, so if you want this to work, you either need Seeker to be your lead with increased defense, or at the very least, you want to put him in second position. And then he will spread that increased defense across your team, and you've got a good chance of the rest of your team surviving. Increased defense is boosting your defense by a lot. Even if you've got decreased defense on you, it kind of gets you back to where you were in the first place. So Seeker is actually super cool for this. Another good champion for this type of thing is Sandlashed. But Sandlashed you want to put at the back. So Sandlashed has got a passive which throws ally protection on your team. Yeah, and also puts block damage on this champion for a turn. So what will happen is you have to have somebody lose 50% of their health. And don't forget, it's going to attack the first person in the team first. And then it's going to attack 2, then 3, then 4. So she shouldn't be towards the top end of the order. Otherwise, she'll take a hit. Then someone else will take a hit. If she's already dead, she can't put her block damage out. So she needs to be right at the back of the queue. So she's actually a super cool champion for this in terms of going second, because she can protect your whole team with ally protection. Means they're all going to take half their damage they'd normally take, and you've got a good chance then of at least having a turn. Someone else who's super good for this type of stuff, again, you'd want him at the back, is Vodoff. So Vodoff's passive is to, not this one, this one. Whenever this champion is attacked, heals all allies by 50% of the damage that they receive. It's a massive, like you see this in end game plat arena. This passive kicking in, and he's just healing up. So if you've got, a high HP type of team, then as they're taking, let's say they're taking a double hit from a Trunda. First hit smacks you for 100k, somehow you live. He heals for half of that. The second hit then comes in, smacks you for another 100k. All right, you might be dead. Or you know what? He might somehow make you live if you've got a combination of some of this stuff going on. So Vodoff becomes really, really good. So I can just show you, we might not win the fight, but I can just show you how this kind of plays out in an actual fight. I'll make sure that we end up going second. And let's put in like a hard-hitting tank, who would end up being my damage dealer. I won't win the fight, but it'll give you an idea. So, in fact, he's not good. Let's put Seeker in the lead. Let's put another tank in like this. So what we should see here, let's slow it down. There we go. We're going to take a hit. You see, increased defense goes across my team. I didn't even need the Sandlashed passive yet. I'm doing retribution hits because of my masteries. He's then tried to kill my Norog, but Sandlash passive kicks in. So we've got ally protection on our whole team now. Increased defense on our whole team. Sandlashed is unkillable. Norog has tanked a ton of damage for us. And are we now going to win this fight? Probably not. But we are going to have a hit. And, I mean, actually, this is a disgusting... This team I'm facing is a disgusting go second team, by the way. 2 Brackus, I'll talk through them in a minute. Skullcrown, one of the best in the game. And Duchess, one of the best in the game. So, unless we absolutely, do some sort of crazy stuff, we're going to lose, because this is a perfect setup for a go second team. But you can see, at least we've had a chance to do something. And we've got a good amount of protection running through this team to give us a few hits at least. And we're up against a hard-hitting quality team right now. And quite honestly, we're giving ourselves a chance. So, we're bamming through. All right, she's going to get a revive away. These boys are probably going to take me down now. But I've had enough hits. If I'd geared these people well enough, I've honestly had enough hits to actually probably get the job done. Or I should have done if I'd had these people geared well enough. So you can see how they're playing through. Okay, let's talk through some more champions that can be super cool for this type of setup. Some of these aren't even geared properly. Other champions that can be really, really strong. So revive-based champions. Revive champion. So Rector is a really strong reviver. She revives with 60% HP and turn meter. Yeah, so the important thing if you're looking for a go second team revive champion is to make sure they're reviving with a decent amount of turn meter, because otherwise you're just going to go through that same process of getting absolutely slammed again. But Rector's really good for this. She also places a Veil, which reduces the damage you take on the person she revives. If you're running on auto, she will always try and revive the person highest in the turn order. So if your leader dies, she'll revive the leader first. Other revived champions. There's a really, really good revived champion in Bannerlords, which is Ursula. She revives everybody with 50% turn meter, and she puts increased defense and strengthen on them. So you have to make sure that she is an absolute tank unit. You have to make sure that she can survive all of the damage that's coming at her in the first place, which is the hardest thing to do, to be honest. But her in a swift parry set can be literally disgusting with the right masteries. So Ursula could be very cool. Let's talk about one of the oldest but best strategies for offense go second. In fact, I'm going to play this one out. So for this one, we're going to run a Cardinal strat. This is one of the oldest but best, but it's only really valuable on offense. You throw this into your defense team, you're just going to die, because Cardinal's AI is just a bit funky. But basically, what do you need? You need a tank unit Cardinal who's relatively quick, but not crazy quick. 209's good. High amount of HP, good amount of defense. She has to survive the hits, okay? You could even bring in the Seeker as another champion here to help her survive that hit by giving her that increased defense. Masteries are really important, so timely intervention's super important here because everyone else is going to die, okay? Everyone else is going to die, so she is going to gain a ton of turn meter from that. She's then got a skill that revives everybody and brings their turn meter to max, which means they absolutely will get a turn. So I'm going to run it alongside champions that just one-shot people, but you run them super slow and squishy, so you want them to die. Royal Huntsman. If anything, I've got too much HP here. How have I got so much HP? Where is it coming from? Okay, let's change this over. Yeah, but basically you want him to be just literally falling down. Fall down so that he can come back in and just attack. HP on the banner as well, that's where it's coming from. That's better. So yeah, so basically low HP, low defense, but high damage, so that when you pick him back up, he's going to absolutely one-shot anyone in the game. I've got another one here, Faceless, does the same thing. Super low defensive stats, super high offensive stats. So we throw them into a team. Let's try and find some tanks. Or perhaps we just find a high damage team like this. We throw them into a team. So we're going to try this. Now, in this instance, see what I'm doing here? I'm going to give Cardinal the increased defense buff from Seeker taking a smack. Yeah? Seeker takes the hit. Cardinal gets the increased defense buff so that she's got better chance of staying alive. You don't have to do Seeker here, by the way. It's just, I felt like, why not show you again this in action? So slow this down. They're definitely going first. They're going to give themselves a good old buff. Drop my defense, and I'm in trouble. And then their big damage hit comes in. Everybody's dead, but Cardinal is not. Whoa, not auto Cardinal. Whoa. Cardinal is not because of that increased defense. She might have died, to be fair, without Seeker in there. And now I've got my offense coming in. So what do we do with Faceless? We ignore shield, we ignore block damage, and we ignore defense. And we say, who do we want to kill? I mean, I don't want their reviver in the game, so she's dead. She's absolutely dead. Let's put increased attack on as well. And then we can go after someone. I probably want to try and provoke Seeker. Bam. Job done. Again, he's not geared. And then I just want to sit someone else down. So maybe you're going to die. Yes, you're going to die. 250k worth of damage, which is actually a bit disgusting. And at this point, like, okay, it's not a home run because I don't have an AoE champion doing this, but it's not far from it. Pop! 46k, one more down. Now, Madame can't do anything. She can't kill me. So we're 2 versus 1, and we know that firstly we've got someone who's just doing an absolute ton of damage, but we've also got someone who's rolling back round 2, their revive. So, you know, good luck, madame. You're actually giving it a good try, to be fair. But lo and behold, they're all back again, and then she's in trouble. So that's the type of team that you do as a go second, but it's pretty champion specific. Like Cardinals, the only champion with a revive that works in this way. But it's very cool anyway. So that's a very cool strat. So this is a cool one, and actually a really cool one in the team that I just showed you. So Kaitis is a Trunder if he's got less than half health. So if you've got him in that Cardinal team, he can actually be your AoE damage, and he will hit like a Trunder hits. So he will do an AoE and smack everybody to death in that same sort of setup. So he's actually really cool for that. Someone else in that same faction, Deathless, is also an absolute nuke if 2 or more allies are dead. Okay, so it's more situational, more difficult to do, but she can do some funky stuff if you've got people dead. Let's talk about how to counter someone like a Hedgie. If you've got an enemy Hedgie team, depends how they're setting them up. A lot of people are doing A1 Hedgies nowadays. They come and A1 you with 2 random hits. It's actually so troll. So normally Hedgies will be AoE damage, trying to block you out, and they're annoying. Okay, but if you're A1, he's actually got 2 hits which pop off at random. Props to Sophia and Roy and Shortened Skills from my Discord, actually, who, you know, we were talking about this. I don't have a Hedgie, I've not seen this in action, but basically what he's doing is he's doing Evil Eye on 2 random enemies to just mess up your turn order. It's kind of disgusting. But anyway, anti-Hedgie champs. I showed you one of mine, which is Morley, probably the best one in the game for this. If you take a hit with Morley, everybody in your team gets turn meter. So she can actually throw the turn meter ahead of the enemy, even though you're meant to be going second. So this is actually a nice one to kind of push you back into the forefront. And she's good on a defense team anyway. And then another one, which I wasn't aware of actually, but Manaya's kind of got a cool, similar mechanic. 20% more turn meter. So what people are doing with Manaya is running her super low HP so that she definitely dies. She has to die to give your team the turn meter. So generally what they do is they actually run her just like a level 1. And then she does this beautifully. I'll show you my anti-Hedgie team quickly just so you can kind of see mine in action. Hedgie, here we go. So I run this team. Basically what happens is Morley is in a shield set. She takes the hit from Hedgie, pushes my turn meter on, and then the rest of my team kick in, and I actually go ahead of the enemy. So again, let's slow it down. Big AoE hit comes in, pushes my turn meter on. Arbiter then increases my attack. We strip everything off, and then Foley says, "Not today, friends." So yeah, pretty quality champion in Morley as an anti-Hedgie, but also a really good go second champ. Okay, so a couple more then. So probably one of the most famous go second champions in the game, certainly for lower level arena. This is disgusting to deal with this champion. Skull Crown. A passive makes her unkillable. Okay, so again, if you put her as a high damage dealer, you put her with that mastery that does retribution, she's going to get a go. And likelihood is, if she's already done retribution once or twice, she is going to kill the enemy. Likelihood is she will kill the enemy through just AoE damage, and she hits really hard. So you can actually run her pretty slow. She's going to get a turn. Obviously, the higher arena you go, the more stuff there is that's going to deal with this champion. So, you know, if you're up against people that freeze you out, lock you out, fear you, all of that type of nasty stuff, cleanse your unkillable off, then it's only as good as who you're up against. So just bear that in mind. But for an earlier game, she's just disgusting to deal with. When I'm doing like new accounts, I tend to just avoid facing her completely. So she's one. Let's get into some legendaries then that are also really cool for go second teams. So the best one, just because she can allow your team to take a massive hit, is Duchess. So Duchess decreases the damage for all of your team by 25%. Straight up 25% damage reduction. Okay, and then if you build her as a high HP unit, once everybody's dead, if she's not, she'll just revive them all back with a good amount of their health and puts Veil on. So Veil actually gives you a further reduction of damage. Okay? She also has got block debuffs and perfect Veil for herself. Block debuffs for the team, perfect Veil for herself. She's just an absolute solid go second champion, probably the best in the game. Now, if you pair her with a partner in crime, Candrathon, things get really interesting because when he gets Veil on him, everything about his kit is better. He takes less damage, he does more damage, he gets turn meter boost going on, he just becomes an absolute unit. His AoE is one of the harder hitters in the game, so he can be a really solid go second champion, hard to deal with. Also, if the enemy buff, he gets a Veil on himself anyway. So even without your Duchess, he's solid. But with Duchess, even better. But yeah, Candrathon, really good in a go second team. Probably one of the best in the game. Another champion, I just shown you him actually, against me. But Brachus is nasty. Nasty in a kind of go second team because you know he's going to kill someone. Yeah? He's got a passive. When he dies, he revives and then attacks that person immediately. What that means is he's going to get up, and if you build him right, he's going to get back up and then just pop someone. Someone's dead. So, you know, in the right sort of setup, Brachus can be your damage dealer in a go second team. Really strong. More of a meme one, but I actually really like this meme. If you've got yourself a couple of Soul Drinkers, okay? Soul Drinkers throw bombs on their enemy when they die. Two bombs, they go on for 2 turns. Now, you have to pick your enemy, yeah? Because if you're up against someone who's going to just cleanse the bombs away, it's clearly not going to do any work. But if there's no cleansers on the opponent team, if you've got 2 Soul Drinkers, you don't have to worry about any crits. Crit does not affect the damage a bomb does. The only thing that affects the damage a bomb does is attack. That's it. So you just push every single stat in attack that you can. Don't worry about speed. Don't worry about defensive stats. You want him to die, and you just push attack, attack, attack. If you've got 2 of them, it means you're throwing 4 bombs out, which is kind of gross. 4 bombs will kill any champion in the game if you've got enough attack going on. Okay? So you then got to last it out for 2 more turns. So you need them to blow up. So what you do is you have someone super slow that can't die. So somebody like a Basilisk. Basilisk, if he dies, gets revived with block damage on. So if you make a super slow, high resistance Basilisk, he's just there like that. Ooh, hit me again! And the Soul Drinkers are long dead, and their bombs are popping off, and the enemy team are just dying. It's a really fun kind of meme setup. It's more meme than good, I'd say, but it will work. The strategy will work. So that's the type of stuff that you can do if you're thinking about how to set up your team. Okay, so the last section I'm going to talk about here is the high HP champions. Now, high defense champions can take a hit until they get decreased defense on them, and then they're just as squishy as the next attack guy on the left. But high HP champions will take a decent hit, and all of their damage comes from the thing that's keeping them alive. Okay, so champions that we're talking about here, there's 2 absolute standouts. They're both legendaries, but 2 absolute standouts are Mountain King and Sonic. Yeah, both of them hit extremely hard and are hard to kill. And in a go second team, they're great because absolutely you can keep them alive, and they're going to nuke with the same stat that's keeping them alive. So they could be really useful. One of the best kind of defensive-based, give yourself a chance to have a go, is a Void Legendary, Asurga. I know not many people are going to have her, but if you do, she decreases the damage from crits for your allies by 30%. She takes a hit instead, okay, but fine. She's going to die. Everyone else gets a turn. That's the main thing. Can you get your team to have a go? That's what you're trying to do. So Asurga is really good for that. Someone else who a lot of people may have now, Brogni. If you've got someone in a shield set in your team and Brogni's in your team, then whoever hits your team are going to take a load of retaliation damage through his passive. So whenever an ally's under shield buff, you reflect 25% of that damage back at the attacker. So you put a big shield, I don't know, Sonic, alongside Brogni and then a couple of other champions that you're trying to keep alive, potentially you one-shot the person who's attacking you through this reflect. So this is actually kind of cool. So look, I mean, I think we'll leave it there. There's tons of options, but they're all very champion specific. They're all based on you building teams around the mechanics. They're based on you putting your champions in the right place in the turn order. They're based on you equipping your champions with the right type of gear sets to deal with what's coming at you, and the right masteries on the right champions to make it work. So this is not just like a novice, bam, I'm going to go second and win the arena. This is more like, I'm going to have to really think it through to make it work. But if you do, you can create some really cool stuff in Raid for Go Second teams. So look, I hope you enjoyed the video. A bit different to what I normally do, but I know there's a lot of people that are interested in this type of topic. If you've got some cool Go Second teams that you use, post them down below, but post them with a bit of detail about how does it work? What's the order you place them in? Why do you do that? And, you know, if there's someone who's in specific gear, tell us what that is as well. Help other people out with this tough kind of topic. Anyway, I've been Hell Hades. Thanks to the mods that helped me pull this stuff together. I will catch you later.